Hello, welcome everyone. I'll be sharing certain things that I would love people who are just getting into snail farming to learn. And I believe when they learn these things, it puts them in a better place to succeed in their snail farming business. Now, the first thing is there are a lot of people who are trying to sell snails to you than people who are actually cultivating snails. Okay, now it takes on average about 2 years and 6 months for you to get a snail from baby snail to maturity. Anyways, what you're seeing there is the feed. Okay, so you might be wondering, why is it crushed fine? So that the snails can easily consume it and it's easily ingested by them. And later in the course of this video, we'll be talking about how to feed your snails, your feeding regimen, and a whole lot of other things, especially for baby snails, those who are starting out. And I hope this conversation helps a lot of persons improve their snail farming game. If you're just joining us for the first time, this is AgroCycle, and our goal is simply to help farmers with the best knowledge when it comes to agriculture and help with procurement. So if you're here to like, if you're here to subscribe, please go ahead and do that now. Okay, having said that, so let's talk about this thing. Anyways, this is a farm that was just set up lately. The snails arrived a little bit later than usual, and he had to just put them in the pen pending when he was available to come wash them. So this was the first day, so he had to just show us to see, okay, the snails have arrived, this is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm seeing, I've spotted this, I've spotted that, I've been able to do certain things, and I put them in their pen. So to that effect, here's what happens in the community of practicing farmers. For those of you that are wondering, oh, where do you get all these videos? And do you go to the farms? Do you visit? No. Okay, we have a robust community of farmers with over 350 practicing farmers at the moment. Whenever you get started, you're required to send videos of your farm, okay, so that other farmers who are in the community can support you, our consultants can help you, and you'll be able to figure out the basic things when it comes to starting. So one very important thing is the quality of your soil. Now you can look at that soil. It's dark, okay, it's called the loamy soil, and the signature is usually being dark in color. Do whatever you can to get loamy soil. If you need to meet someone who is into farming, a horticulturist or something, just go the extra mile to get loamy soil, because it has the ability to hold water and it doesn't allow the water to get muddy, cake up, and the snails are unable to move. Okay, also clay soil has been identified to be very acidic. Okay, and considering the fact that snail produces slime, which is basic in nature, when acids and basic solutions meet up, they become neutral. Okay, so it breaks up the cells of the snails, making it difficult for them to move around. But this is a very slow process and doesn't just happen like that. So here is something you would want to consider in snail farming. Once you're starting out, build your pen properly. Okay, construct your pen properly. You can see what he's doing. I remember in our last video we were talking about how to set up your pen rightly. I was able to tell some people watched and they understood that, see, it is very important that you put in sticks to support the weight of your mulching material. Now look at the weight of that mulching material. Just look at the way that mulching material is just placed under at one point. If snails were underneath it, which most likely they would be, they will have difficulties moving from that place, okay, to where they need to be, or to where they probably need to find food. Okay, then when you think about it, the mulching material provides a platform for the snails to move around. If you didn't have those mulching materials and sticks placed properly, the snails would literally have the walls of the pen and the floor to move around, just like what you're seeing. Okay, so Anyways, just counting to make sure that he got the right number, and I expect every single new farmer to do the same. Accountability is a big part of being a snail farmer, especially in the intensive system. Unlike the extensive system where you're giving up you're giving up accountability for freedom or more time. Okay, in the intensive system you're giving up freedom for accountability, so it's more like a dent on you or a loss to you, that the only thing that you have or you gain, which is accountability, being able to know when your snails are sick, being able to monitor them, being able to see what they eat, being able to talk about their babies, and being able to take record, you're not even doing that. Okay, so it puts you in a very bad place. So back on to what we were talking about, build a good pen for your snails. Please do well to build a perfect pen for your snails. You could use trenches, you could use hatch boxes, but the standard measurement for an average snail pen is 3 feet by 5 feet. Take note, 3 feet by 5 feet. Okay, and the thickness, which is the height from the bottom of the pen to the lid, should be 2.5 feet, or a minimum of 2 boards. Okay, yeah, 2 boards. So when you understand these things and you stick to these basics, you are better able and better positioned to see your farm succeed. Take note, you are better able and better positioned to see your farm succeed. Now I would always talk about these things. People know me, and a lot of farmers have interacted with me and interacted with our trainings. I would always say this: you need only 3 things to get your farm to succeed. 3 things. The first one is you clean well, the second one is you feed well, and the third one is you monitor effectively. Okay, so let's take the first one, feed well. Okay, which one? I can't even figure out the order I said it. So, but let's take the first one, feed well. Now, what does feed mean? There is a meal plan. There is what we call a meal plan, a meal planner. Okay, and there is the feeding regimen. Now, the meal planner is just a compendium of fruits that you can find in your locality, vegetables, and products that you can use to formulate your own feed. Calcium supplement, a lot of them, they are listed and they are given to farmers once they join the community of practicing farmers, and that means you have to go through the AgroCycle training, but that's by the way. And that meal planner will help you plan, okay, this is what I have in my location and snails eat it. I can use this and replace this one. I can use guava to replace watermelon. I have tomatoes in my place, I can replace pawpaw. I have pawpaw, I can replace pineapple. I have this. So it gives you an option, and it helps you cut down the cost of your feed. Even in your meal planner, you get to find the necessary things that you need to prepare your feed. Take for example wheat offal, rice brown, a lot of other things that could substitute, even cassava peel that could substitute corn. You get all those things. Now your feeding regimen. Your feeding regimen is how you feed your snails. In AgroCycle, we have the 1-to-1 feeding regimen. I will break it down to make it understandable for everyone. So take for example, you decide to start with 1 on Monday. Okay, so 1, you're going to be feeding fruits on Monday. Tuesday, you give them formulated feed. Wednesday, you're giving them formulated feed. Thursday, you give them vegetables. Friday, you give them what? Formulated feed. Saturday, you give them formulated feed. Sunday, you give them fruits. So that's how you call it the 1-to-1 feeding regimen. So 1 stands for vegetables on the first day, 2 feed, then lastly vegetables. Then you start over again. You don't start from the beginning, you continue feed fruits, feed vegetables. I hope I'm making sense. Okay, so once you follow that feeding regimen, you assure certain things. The first one is fruits. Okay, you always assure that your snails are being hydrated. Fruit is one way that snails get their hydration, like water or stuff like that. Okay, yes. Now a lot of persons think, oh, my snails, they can smell water. Not necessarily the way we think about it. And when they are tested, they will go and enter the probably the plastic that we place water inside, then they will drink from there. First of all, snails do not have the ability to drink water the way we think about it. They don't have a stomach that they drink water into their mouth and it goes there to sit and relax and digest food. No, rather they absorb water from their skin. So they necessarily do not have to go to a water source, provided the place is humid and your pen, the soil has enough water. They can absorb water from there. Okay, I hope I'm making sense. So it doesn't mean you shouldn't put water. Yes, it doesn't mean you shouldn't put water. Please put the right quantity of water trays around, but don't go and take up the whole space in the name of putting water. It is more important that your pen is humid enough and your soil is well moist, okay, that the snails can easily absorb water, than for you to be running around everywhere. Okay, anyways, let me put that to the side. So that's on the feeding. Now let's talk about cleaning. Another person asked me, oh, Mr. Rex, does it mean I have to wash my snails every day? First of all, on arrival, it is important that you wash your snails. And think about it. Your snails have been through a lot of stress. They've been through a lot of things from the farm where they are. You really don't know. Maybe there are germs that come with the snails. Maybe there are certain things. Just, it is best you wash them, okay? At least wash them and give them a chance to thrive, even with the high level of contamination around. Give them an opportunity to thrive. Now secondly, when you wash them, it rejuvenates them. Let me paint this picture very well. When the snails are packed, okay, for exportation or for transportation from one point to another, from one farm to another, they are packed into a basket, okay. Now in that basket, they can't move around because sometimes it's packed to the brim. I believe a lot of us have seen how snails are being transported. For those people that even use basket, some people just use sacks, and it's really dangerous, and I will explain that. Okay, so when these snails, we know the Nigerian road is pretty bad, and if you're not careful, when the car goes through one gallop, bad road, all those things, the vibration causes the snails to get into a state of almost hibernation. Okay, then they're not moving around vigorously. They're just there. They're not even active. They're not eating. So when you wash them, it rejuvenates them, okay, it gets them started, it jump starts their system, and they are ready to start moving. They look at, oh, what is the next place to go to? Where can I find water source? Where can I find shade? That's why if you see a pen that is poorly mulched, you notice that the snail always go to one corner to hide, especially if there are no sticks in the pen, okay. But with recent development and with the addition of sticks in the pen, you see that the snails, they can literally stay anywhere. Some will hang. Literally, once your mulching is right, the snails, they can stay anywhere. They will relax and they will be fine. Okay, now what is the next phase of cleaning that you have to do every day? People ask me, Mr. Rex, do I have to clean my pen every day? Clearly, if you're doing this intensive system, yes, please, you have to clean it every day, and it's not a lot of work. What do you have to do? Take out your feeding tray. Now I would advise people to use PVC boards, and I don't know if I don't think I would have. Maybe we would have to add PVC boards later and show people what PVC boards look like. Okay, so I would advise people to use PVC board. Meanwhile, you can see the video. Okay, hope you can see this. You will notice that he had come back to arrange his pen properly, put sticks there, supports the sticks, like make sure that the weight of the mulching material is not directly on the snails but under the sticks or plastics that is using to like that's placed on the block or stone to support the weight of the mulching material. Okay, now what does this tell you? This is the beauty of having a community. When you are part of the community of practicing farmers, your mistakes are minimal. Okay, remember a few minutes ago he showed us his farm. He was trying to count and all those up and down that he was doing. Prior to that point, his pen was just a mess, but clearly now he has adjusted, because you keep posting your videos. There are farmers who are there to support you, there are consultants who are there to help you, and the good thing is that you also attached to a practicing farmer depending on your state. Because take for example this man or woman who has done this, the company has their contact. Okay, so depending on the state, we attach you to them directly, so you're not left alone. You're never left alone when it comes to snail farming. And that's the uniqueness of AgroCycle. Now in this video, they're trying to feed fruits and vegetables along. This is wrong. Okay, so imagine the mistake. This is someone that has gone through training, in quote and in quote, paid for the training, because all the AgroCycle trainings are paid. Okay, paid for the training, but they still make this kind of mistakes, and clearly we called them out. Now you're wondering, oh, didn't you see this video? No. How do we come out with this kind of videos? They are just compiled by the team, the media team, and consultants react to it. Okay, with the reactions that we get is posted online. So you see how neatly arranged this fruits and vegetable meal is. It looks good, but it's not right, and you might be wondering why it's not right. It's not right because some snails will eat fruits and would not have vegetables. Some snails will eat vegetables and would not have fruit. But each of them serve different functions. The fruit is for hydration. Vegetables serve as antibodies, because you have vegetables like bitter leaf, scent leaf, moringa, cocoyam, and pawpaw leaves, all combined together. Okay, and they are served because they have a particular purpose that they are there to serve. Now what I'm saying is a free range setup. You see how the pathway is well designed. Please, I beg you, if you're going to be doing free range, please do it rightly. Don't create something that you'll be stepping on the soil. Okay, yeah, make it look nice, make it look real nice. Yep. So after you've poured your feed, placed everything there, water your snails. Please water them. Remember I talked earlier about how important it is for you to go ahead and water your snails very well. Now in this setting, more like an intensive system, please, and especially if you're using a wooden pen, if you pour excess water, the excess water will drain. But if you're using a concrete pen, okay, where you've plastered it and it's very difficult for water to drain, it becomes more difficult, okay, for you to drain water from your pen. So please be very meticulous and very careful about the right quantity of water you should pour. Okay, now you can do a soil test. How to do a soil test? Grab some soil, hold it together, throw it up, allow it to land in your palm. If it scatters, yes, it has the right quantity of water. Okay, but you can't be too careful. Then please don't just get your pen waterlogged. And genuinely, if you have the right soil, your problem is majorly solved. Okay, now talking about cleaning, what do you need to do? Very important question. Oh, this is a video of, I remember this video. This was a man who was sharing us his first harvest from his free range farm, and he sold each of them for 1,500 because the daughter came back with some of her friends and they were very happy at what he has been able to achieve as someone who has finished service and is just committed to snail farming. And you can imagine the joy that comes with just producing livestock and knowing that, man, this is what came from my farm. And this is also another joy. But if you get to this stage in your farm, don't worry, you are in good form, because these snails are actually mating, and for snails to mate, it means that the environment is conducive for them and they are well fed. Okay, yeah, so this is a different type of pen and we'll get to that. So while I was still talking about cleaning, notice that this guy is holding a broom, and he's not necessarily, you don't necessarily have to sweep your pen like this to clean it. Okay, this is before they started stocking. Okay, so let's get it right. Cleaning doesn't mean you have to sweep your pen. No, it's not like that. This is a 3-decker pen, first deck, second pen, and third deck. Okay, beautiful. So in one stretch, if you don't have a lot of space, this setup can take up to 300 snails comfortably, and you wouldn't even have to budge or look for some other space. Okay, now how do you clean? You come back in the evening by, let's say, 6 p.m. You want to feed them. You have your feed out, you have your fruits, you have your vegetable out, whatever you want to feed them, you brought that out. The first thing you need to do is to take out the mulching materials. Now you've taken out the mulching material, you take out your tray that you used to feed. Like I said, PVC board is the best because it provides you with a larger surface area and it gives you the ability to maneuver with the sizes. Okay, so you can cut it to different sizes to fit your pen. Yes, you can. Now after this, the next thing you need to do is to take away all the leftover particles. Some snails, they will eat, they will drag the food, they will not finish eating from one spot, they will drag it to one place, they will take it there. And the good thing is, if you have the PVC board and you place it in a particular spot consistently, the snails usually do not take the food far away. They will just stay there and eat. Okay, so when they come to that spot and they eat from that place, so the area that will be very dirty will just be within the place where you have your PVC board, which gives you a higher chance of cleaning. Okay, so you just come there, you clean, you take away the leftovers, you go, you wash your tray. Now when you take away the leftovers, you remember your pen is now bare. There are no mulching material, the snails are just there. You've taken away the water can, you've taken away this, and you sprinkle water first. Now what you're seeing here is results. This is people showing off their results. Like I told you, the community of practicing farmers is just built such that someone is showing how many babies they've gotten, this one is complaining, no, I've not got any baby, this is how to hatch my eggs. Like, it's an open community where people share ideas and give perspective to what they want to achieve or what they are achieving in their different endeavors. Okay, so you can see how clean this pen is. It's just, you see, so you notice this pen now, they've removed the leftovers, they've removed everything. What's the next thing? As it is now, you start sprinkling water. Note, do not waterlog your pen, please, especially your baby snails. If you make mistake and waterlog these ones, forget it, they will just drown. Okay, so you have to be very, very careful with your babies. But you can see how neat the pen is. Now after this, you now replace, you go and wash your feeding tray. Now you've washed your feeding tray. The next thing you need to do is to replace your feeding tray and put your feed on top. So now by feed, I mean what you want to feed them. It could be fruits, it could be vegetables, whatever you want. You remember this pen that was complaining about? Can you spot what is wrong here? No mulching material, no sticks. The snails are just left like that, and they are suffering from dry out. And this is a condition where there are more, the snail is losing more water to the environment than is absorbing from the soil. And before you know it, to struggle and get tired, and that's it, it die off. Okay, this is someone just showing off their eggs, and that's by the way. So I'm just reacting, okay, as I see them by the minute. So getting back to what we were talking about, okay. Now this one has taken away the mulching material, trying to expose all those things. Sprinkle water, then you've placed your feed. Okay, you place your feed inside, you replace the water. You didn't hear me say, oh, you washed the snails. Just leave your snails to do their thing. Even washing them regularly stresses the snail. Yes, it does. Okay, now this is a video that I'm seeing, and when I spoke to this lady, I told her she was doing exceptionally well, because what on earth's name is having such a clean pen as this? Okay, see how clean the pen is. Everywhere is neat, looking good. I think this was one of the, look at that one, see how clean the place is. But guess the problem, the pen is very small. It's very small. It's supposed to be at least 3 feet by 5 feet, 2.5 feet tall. Okay, then you have a scenario where cannibalism becomes a very big problem. Yes, cannibalism, because the place is so congested, snails will start eating snails. Snails are very, very cannibalistic by nature. They have a very high tendency to just want to prey on one another. That's it for snails. Okay, now after this, let's get back to what we were talking about, cleaning method. These AF snails, anyways, if you cannot spot out the snails, this is called AF, pointy tail, and what she has inside there is AMO. Okay, now you've removed your mulching material, you've sprinkled water, you've taken away the waste, you washed your tray, you replaced it with feed. Depending on what day you are on your feeding regimen, the next thing you do is to replace your mulching material. Take note, don't go and wash the snail, and after that you sprinkle water, you cover your pen, and you go, and you do this for all your pen. It's not rocket science, that is all. Just that you have to do it every day. Trust me, what you're doing will not even take up to 5 minutes. Okay, so you can see this example now. This one is busy showing us the snails. Now how do you spot healthy snails? You see, healthy snails, look at the skin, is a bit, it's normal though. You see, it's normal, it's not swollen. Okay, you will notice the ridges that the snail, every snail always has ridges. And the good thing is, if the snail has absorbed water and your pen is moist enough, okay, the snails wouldn't have too much rigid. But this pen is looking a bit dry, okay, it's looking a bit dry. But that's by the way. Let's keep going. Now, what is this person doing? He's doing the last thing, which is monitoring your snails. You have to be very deliberate about monitoring the snails. Okay, how are they eating? What are they eating? How often do they eat? Is there a sick snail in the pen? Is there? No, just be very. Actually, watching your snails is very, very therapeutic. Sit back, relax, take a bench. 9 p.m. Oh, look at these snails. You even capture them eating. You see that they have a lot of teeth. I had someone say they have over 10,000 teeth, and it's called Durella or something. Is it Durella or something? I think it's a Durella or something. Now look at this snail. It's looking like swollen. No, it's not swollen or something. It's the inner shell. It would so go inside and form a calcifier because it's trying to protect itself from dry out. Okay, now keep looking. You see that one is also going inside, trying to protect itself from dry out. The next thing you see, it will just use a white calcium substance and slap over its face, and it will dry up and stay there to preserve itself. Why? Because the pen is dry. The goal of snail farming is not necessarily to produce snail, but to have snail all year round. Yes. So how come that you want to have snails all year round, but you're allowing your snails die from dry out simply because you can't give them enough water? It doesn't even make sense. Okay, so look at what is showing me. Please water your pen. That's a secret. Okay, now if you do these 3 things and you do it well, there is no way you will not have babies. It's not even possible. It's not possible. Okay, now this is a farm from a first-time farmer. She's getting her babies for the first time. She's sampling them, just like we do in the community of practicing farmers. You want to if you enter that place, you see farmers that you'll be so excited to show off your own stock. Okay, you'll be super excited to show off what you've done, what you've been able to achieve, because you get mentorship training, you get guidance. If you have not subscribed, do well to subscribe. If you have not followed us, do well to follow us. If there's anything holding you back from joining the community of practicing farmers, do well to join now. Okay, please do well to join now. Yes. Okay, so with that consciousness in your mind, okay, with that level of consciousness in your mind, you should be very, very deliberate about doing these 3 things I've talked about: cleaning, feeding well, and monitoring. Okay, if you monitor well, your problem is solved, clearly solved, 100% solved. Okay, you'll be able to spot out dead snails, because snails are very cannibalistic. They will see a dead one, they will go and want to eat it. When they eat that one, whatever is killing that one is being transferred to it. Can you make sense? So you have to be very on guard. Now look at this pen. Now this is her baby pen. Can you imagine what she's doing? Let me just give her a benefit of doubt that she doesn't know so far. But look at, you can remember now, she has sticks, but for some reason the stick is on top the mulching material. Like, it's just like putting the cart before the horse. Okay, so please don't be like her. These videos are made freely so that you can learn a lot. Now look at this pen, well designed, spacious, nice size, 3 feet by 5 feet. All of these things I'm mentioning are internal diameters, internal dimensions rather. You can spot what is wrong now. Mulching, poor mulching, you see, and the pen is not even clean. But I can give them the benefit of doubt. Maybe they fed them at night and they are trying to come and clean. Okay, yes, it might just be the circumstance, but you can spot out the fact that it is what it is. They need to put something where the snails can climb on. The snails cannot be on the floor only. There has to be more rooms for them to move on. This is the AMO breeders. Create more room, give them more things to climb on, please. Okay, first time farmers, if you're coming across us for the first time, this is AgroCycle, where we teach farmers how to become the best in in any agricultural field. But for now, we are majoring in snail farming, and we want to test this model and see how much lives that we can transform by giving people valid knowledge, real value for free. And for people who want to join the community of practicing farmers, check the link in the description section and join. If you watch this video to this point, you are a very committed farmer. You know what you're doing. Don't play, okay? You're great. And this is just feeding, setting up, and the last part of being a farmer. Okay, so instead of the feeding trays, using benches, the mulching material is placed on something, then the snails will come from under and they have your feed. Okay, I'll see you in our next video.